Hi, I'm Larry Puckett, the DCC guy. Well, today we're going to take a look back at an older video that I did, number 246, and that was about easy signals for your model railroad. And I have been getting comments and questions from people about how to wire up those easy signals ever since that video came up. So finally I decided it was time to go back and revisit that wiring scheme and show you exactly how to do the wiring. Hit that little red subscribe button, and when the little bell comes up, click on it and click all. Now before we do get started with the video, I want to revisit something from the previous video, and that was about the clog in my touch and flow applicators. Someone suggested that I apply a flame to the little metal tips here and burn off whatever was clogging it and get it freed again. So I gave it a try and it worked. So now I've got 3 of these. The new one came in while I was doing that. But at any rate, now I've got 3 of them that work, and hopefully that'll stay that way for quite a while. I'm going to be much more diligent about cleaning out these tips every time I use it. Okay, let's get on with the video. Now, as I said in the opening, this video is going to be about wiring up your simple, straightforward signals that you can purchase off of eBay. One company that sells these that I know is We Honest. So it's a Chinese company. It's not exactly a great name, but that is it, We Honest. So take a look at their store on eBay, and you can pick these up. The last time I got them, I got 3 for $18. So about $6 each, not bad. And they're very nice little signals. Now the goal of this, or the purpose of this, was to show you how you could set up signals that control traffic through a turnout. So it could be a turnout that you're going off from the main, coming back onto the main, in a yard, whatever. And it's basically a very simple process because you just wire up 2 of your leads, your colored leads, to your DCC power bus, and then you take the common lead that is available with these, and these come with resistors attached, and then you attach that to whatever you're using to control the polarity and power for your frog. And unfortunately, the way I showed it done above on top of the layout with connections to the rails and the frogs. And unfortunately, that seems to have confused more people than it helped. So what I'm going to do today is show you exactly how to wire it up as if you were working underneath of your layout with your power bus. So before we do that though, I'm going to show you a brief clip from the previous video, number 246, just to remind you how this works, and then I'll show you how to do the wiring here on the top of the bench. So let's get started by taking a look back for a minute, and then we'll be back to go ahead and do the wiring here. I went ahead and set up one of these signals here on the layout. It's just a temporary installation to give you an idea of how this works. So what I've just done is I've used a few alligator clips to clip these wires to the individual rails and to the frog itself. And so that was just a temporary way to be able to show you the connections and how to make them. And once I get ready to install it permanently, I'll just drill a hole down through the ballast and slide things down through there and make the electrical contacts underneath. And what happens is, whenever I throw the turnout points, the polarity or the phase of the power being fed to the frog is going to change. And depending on whichever one of these wires completes the circuit, at that point, we'll either get a red light or a green light. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to throw the turnout, and you can see what happens. So you can see there, we've switched to red. And at this time then, now that I've thrown the switch, the points are set against this route. So we've got a red light because we don't want a locomotive advancing through this switch, through this turnout, when the points are set against it. And so that red light prevents that from happening because the locomotive should stop. But when we throw the points the other direction so that we have a route that is clear through the turnout, then we get a green light, which is what we want. And that works because in order to complete a circuit, the two wire contacts have to be of opposite polarity or opposite phase, in this case with DCC. And so when we are throwing it one way, we get a connection between the green and the black, and then in the other direction, we get a connection between the red and the black. Okay, here we are. I've got all of this wiring laid out here, and I'll explain every bit of it to you. You can see I've already got the power on. We have a red indicator showing, and I'm going to throw the turnout. And you can see we've now gone to green. So I'm using red and green. Now, unfortunately, because of the way that this is a very simple circuit setup, you can only use two colors. You can use red-green, red-yellow, yellow-green, but that's it. You cannot use more than two because there's only two wires to work from. You'd have to have a much more complicated circuit if you want to use all three or combinations of them. So, let's take a look then at how this works and what I've got. Okay, so the first thing here is, this is my NCE power panel, and these are the track leads coming out of it. So this is what you would have on your model railroad. You would have a DCC power bus coming out and going out to the rest of your track and everything else. I have two wires here connected to the bus, and sorry it's all wrapped around itself, but that was the best way to set this up. So I've got a red and a green wire, and they go in here to my DCC Concepts IP digital switch machine. And it has a built-in accessory decoder. So I can use switch commands using my NCE power cab to control the switch machine. Now, we've got the red and the green wires coming here off of the DCC power bus. It's going to power this and also provide the control signals. And then right here, you can see where I've got the red and the green wires coming from the DCC power bus going into the switch machine. This is the wire coming out from the frog polarity control on the switch machine. Goes out through this 1000 ohm resistor, a dropping resistor, so that you don't blow your LEDs. And that's the common wire going out to the signal. So this has a built-in single pole double throw switch, and it's going to take these two wires, it's going to take power coming from your DCC power bus, and it's going to switch it back and forth between the two sources. You could do the same thing on a tortoise switch machine. You could have DCC power coming in to one of the SPDT switches on the tortoise, and then you have the output from the switch going to control your common wire polarity. So it would be the same type of operation, whether it be a tortoise switch machine or a DCC Concepts IP digital switch machine. The big difference, of course, is this has an accessory decoder built in, whereas with a tortoise switch machine, you'd have to have something like a switch 8 or a switch it or one of the Digitrax type accessory decoders to be able to control the tortoise switch machine. This has it all built in. So, the rest of the power. Okay, we've got the DCC power bus here, and then I've got two clip leads. And I've got a red wire here and a green wire here. The green wire goes to the green LED. The red wire goes to the red LED. What we're doing then is we're providing power from your DCC power bus to your LEDs, and then we have the common wire, the return wire for the circuit, going into the frog polarity control. So every time your frog polarity changes, it's going to change the polarity feed through this common wire and turn either the green or the red LED on. So all you have to do then is hook it up the way I've shown here. Use a switch machine or some other way of controlling the polarity of your frog. Hook up your common wire to that so that the polarity changes every time you throw the turnout points, and then power your LEDs by connecting them to one or the other of your DCC power bus wires. So all I have to do, I can select the accessory. This is accessory decoder number 1. And so I'm going to hit that. And then I can push this button and you can hear it moving. And the polarity has changed. So we have a red light. I go the other way. Throw it back the other way. We go back to the green light. Very simple and straightforward. So hopefully that is going to address all of your questions. Once again, power coming out from your command station here. I have 2 wires feeding off of that DCC power bus to power and control the switch machine. I have 2 wires, the red and the green wire, from the red and the green LEDs on the signal attached to one or the other of the 2 wires on your DCC power bus. And then we have the common wire between them attached to the polarity control output here on this switch machine. So every time the switch machine changes direction, your polarity to your frog is going to change, and also the polarity to the common wire here on your signals. So hopefully that's going to clear this up, all the questions that people have had over the last couple of years as to how this is truly wired. Well, that's a wrap for today's video. Hopefully you'll now be able to set up signals very quickly and easily on your model railroad using the technique that I just showed you. So it is fairly simple, fairly straightforward, as long as you know exactly how to wire it up. So enjoy, have a great weekend, have a great week, and I'll see you here next week with another video from the DCC guy. Bye now.